So we just recently purchased this house. It is a 1932 house, and this is actually an addition to the back end of it that they made into a laundry room. The addition was done very poorly though. They used some not good quality products, and so we're going to be removing those, like the baseboards. We're going to be doing a patch repair on the side of the wall. You can see the original side of the house there. We are just going to do a nice simple cut and clean it up a little bit and use some mold resistant sheetrock to place back in. The mud is going to be about a 2-step process. We're going to have to put it on first, let it dry, and then place it on again. Along with that, I use that mud to repair some of the holes in the walls and some of the areas where we ripped off a little bit of the texture and the paint. I also cleaned the room very well so that the paint would have a good surface to adhere to, and we're going to be using this beautiful green paint. The back portion of the laundry room we will be tiling, and so we're going to be using all these products here to tile. I got some nice Subway tiles and my tile cutter, and then my grout. The tile cutter was actually very, very simple to use. I was a little intimidated at first, but there's a little bit of a learning curve, and it's really easy to pick up on. It's got the measurements on the side, so it's very easy to get things correct. Here I'm applying the type 1 adhesive to the wall, and you kind of spread it on there, and then you use your trowel to make the divots in it on the opposite side of your trowel so that the glue can really dig in to these tile sections. And then you're going to use your spacers to make sure your tile's all evenly done, and we're just going to go along and do that this whole time. We also decided in this that we wanted to have a recessed brackets in the wall because we wanted a shelf, but we didn't really want the brackets to be super visible. So we are going to find the studs, and I'm going to tile over the top of them. So you're only going to see the little lip that comes over the piece of wood. Now we are going to go through and we're going to grout everything, and we're going to press it in there. You press sideways when you're grouting. You have to work pretty quickly. While I'm letting this kind of dry on the wall, I'm going to do some coats of paint on our concrete stairs in here, and we're going to do a fun little pattern on them. My husband just looked up a YouTube video on how to do a faux beam, and so we sliced those boards exactly how we needed them to be, and we're going to adhere them to the wall, and we are going to hang the chandelier directly from the middle. We're removing these lights on the sides. All the old wood that we have in here just really accentuates and brings in the vintage feel as well. I love that we can reuse the reclaimed wood from our barn. And now it's the final touches. We're gonna cover up the water heater. We're gonna bring in an old cabinet that my grandma gave me, some brass pieces I found at an antique store, and then a beautiful rug I got from a nice rug shop, and that's it. I am so excited with how this turned out. It went from very drab and very disappointing looking to a place I want to go and do my laundry, and I smile every time I walk through the door. All these final little touches just made it perfect. It was exactly what I wanted.
Here's how to update a boring entryway on a budget. First, run to your local hardware store and grab 2 beadboard panels. Then grab a nice baseboard. Now, when you get home, it's going to be hard to wait, but you need to wait 48 hours for the paneling to adjust to the humidity of your home. If you don't wait, you'll get lots of warping and shrinkage. Once the wait is over, you can go ahead and start brad nailing your paneling to the wall. Now measure the remaining space, transfer it to your second panel, and cut. Once you get that panel nice and secure, caulk the seams and edges. Now to finish off these nail holes. If you had some sticking out like I did, normally you want to use a nail punch for this, but I didn't have one, so I decided to use a screwdriver with my hammer, and it works just fine. Now it's time for that upside down baseboard. Pop it at the top of your paneling, making sure that it's very level, and nail it into place. Caulk any remaining seams, and get to painting. Do not cheap out on the brand of paint here, because this is going to be a very high traffic area. You're going to have keys and coats brushing up against it all the time. So I used Duration by Sherwin-Williams in the color Eventide. And you can use a little craft brush and wall paint to touch up. Now it's time to add the hooks. And now for some styling. I am so happy with how this turned out. It is exactly what I was hoping for, and it was so budget friendly. It was only a few cuts, so it was really easy to do. But I think this looks quite professional. I hope this gave you some ideas on what to do with your entryway. And thanks for watching Home Talk.
I wanted to add some character to this plain and boring wall, so I decided to try my hand at a board and batten wall feature. I couldn't believe how quick and easy it was. The first thing I did was to measure my wall and cut a 1x4 board to size. I cut the horizontal board first and set that in place, using a level to make sure that it was level. That way I could measure and cut the vertical boards to the exact length that I needed them to be. If I had cut my vertical boards first and then added the horizontal piece on top afterward, then I might have more gaps between my wood to wood sections, since they likely wouldn't line up exactly 100%. When adding the vertical boards, I started with the two end pieces, so that way I had essentially created a frame on my wall. From there, I needed to determine where I was going to place the other vertical pieces. I measured the wall so that I could space the boards out evenly. Once I had all the wood secured to the wall using the nail gun, I could see it starting to come together. The next step was to cover the gaps between the wood and the wall. Using some caulking and running it along all the spaces between the wood and wall gets rid of these and covers up the gaps and gives a great professional looking finish. The next step is to start painting. I've seen some beautiful board and batten walls of all different colors, but for this room I wanted to stick with white because it's a pretty dark room with no overhead lights. I just needed to incorporate all the lightness that I could into here. I gave the wall 3 coats of white paint, and then I was able to add in my room decorations. This was an extremely easy project that can have a really big impact on a space, so I hope you'll give it a try. I hope this inspired you to feel confident and make a change on a wall in your home.
To start, I'm removing the kitchen outlet covers in the kitchen backsplash area, then cleaning the wall. Next, I'm painting the entire backsplash wall with a fresh coat of wall paint. Now I'm measuring the vertical space between the top cupboards and the lower backsplash riser that's attached to the wall. I'm now taking those measurements and transferring them to a few strips of 2.5-inch MDF primed trim molding, then cut to my desired length using a miter saw. Next, each molding piece is getting painted with the same paint as my backsplash wall. Since I want the adhesion to be removable, I'm using command strips, which can be removed at a later date without leaving any damage, making this idea rent-friendly. The large molding piece is being placed first. Next, I'm positioning, then sticking each molding piece vertically along the entire backsplash where desired. And here's how easy it is to remove the wood strips. The result is a gorgeous board and batten kitchen backsplash that resembles a wooden feature wall without the bigger expense or endless trimming fuss a real wood wall would entail. I hope this inspires you to turn a simple backsplash area into a super stylish look that doesn't break the bank. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.